An insider believes the New York Jets are going to make a massive splash in free agency at cornerback. What do we think about that? Right move, wrong move, who's the player? What the hell's going on? We'll get all that and more. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. This is a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for checking us out today. Again, we're live every single day at 7:30 in the morning. It's a real hoot, everybody. It's a real hoot indeed. So with that being said, let's get into it. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Good morning to the Coffee Club and Espresso Club, specifically out in our audience. We have an article in the YouTube description down below. Feel free to check it out, but we're going to be talking about it here on the program. Shout out to NFL insider Greg Aman. He is of NFL on Fox. He did a really cool piece where he predicted where a lot of the top free agents would go out there in the universe. And one of those free agents that he believes is going to sign with the New York Jets is Nahshon Wright. You guys may recognize that name. You may not recognize that name. That is a Pro Bowl corner this past season for the Chicago Bears. And we have a running poll right now on YouTube. I'm curious your guys' thoughts, so feel free to vote on it. Is corner a top 5 position of need for the New York Jets this offseason? Because as we're going to talk about with this Nahshon Wright fella, like this would be a massive free agent splash in terms of the money for the New York Jets. So again, I'm curious. Make sure you guys vote whether or not you think corner is a top 5 position of need. The Jets have a lot of positions of need. Is corner among them? I'll let you guys discuss that in the audience. But Nahshon Wright is an interesting guy. He's coming off an awesome season. Here's what Aman had to say. Nahshon Wright helped himself in 2025 as much as any player, going to the Bears on a league minimum $1.1 million contract with 1 pick and 3 starts in his 4 seasons. He was a ball hawk on one of the NFL's best takeaway defenses. He had 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and he earned a Pro Bowl nod along the way. Chicago's over the salary cap right now, so they can't bring him back. Wright could end up with a high dollar amount in free agency, drawing $16 million per year or more. Okay, so this guy played at Laney College in Oregon State. He was the 99th overall pick of the 2021 NFL draft. Spent his first 3 years of his career with the Dallas Cowboys. And then in August of 2024, he got traded from the Cowboys to the Minnesota Vikings in a rare player-for-player swap for another former corner, Andrew Booth Jr. And he didn't make the final roster. He was cut and then brought back on the practice squad. And then he just randomly jumped on the Bears roster in April of last offseason, and then he just went crazy in terms of his season. And the thing that makes me nervous on players like this is, you know, when you're a one-year wonder, and now we're betting on the one-year wonder thing that we just saw. That's the thing that concerns me about this. This past season, he started 16 games. He had 5 picks. He had a pick 6, 11 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and he totaled 80 tackles. Before this season that he just had, he had never started more than 2 games in a single year. That makes me incredibly nervous. He's 27. He will turn 28 in September of this year. And the contract he's projected to get, according to SpotTrack, is a 3-year, $50 million deal on free agency. That $16.7 million annual salary would place him inside the top 20 of the highest paid corners in football. Now, on one hand, we need people that can take away the football. No question about it. And Nahshon Wright is coming off a season in which he takes away the football. 5 picks? Sure. 2 forced fumbles? Sure. 3 fumble recoveries? Okay. That checks off the list. But again, if I'm the Jets, I'm not sure if I do this, to be quite candid. That seems like a lot of buco bucks for a guy that has 1 year of production. Prior to that, he was a backup. He just didn't play. He went in a variety of circumstances. Now, there are stories in the NFL where it's all about the right place, right time, right opportunity, and he can burst on the scene. But I would be very nervous if I'm the New York Jets about spending that kind of buco bucks. We're hearing some people learn about him. Luby says, I'm going to go watch his reel. Yeah, feel free. Do some more work on him. To be honest, I didn't know much about Nashawn Wright before he showed up here. That's for sure. And, yeah, we had some of that activity happening here on the program. Shout out to a bunch of the people in the comment section, by the way. Appreciate it. Good morning to my mother's here in the chat. Hop on Pop is here in the chat. I love it. NC Green says the biggest need on defense is pressure on the quarterback. I agree. If I was going to prioritize needs on the defensive side of the football, edge rusher and just pressure could come in the form of a defensive tackle, I suppose, a penetrating defensive tackle. That's where I'd go. Because, to be honest, you can have the best corners in the world, but if they're covering forever because your pass rush isn't getting there, then it's not going to matter how good your corners are, because if a quarterback waits around forever, he's going to find a wide open guy. And last year, the Jets were 31st in pass rush. They had 26 sacks. The only team that was worse was the San Francisco 49ers, who had 20 sacks this past season. So they didn't get a pass rush, which I think pass rush leads to disruption on the back end of the defense. Quarterbacks throwing early, picks, fumbles, issues, all things of that nature. So I would go pass rush personally. But the good news is that the Jets have the financial resources, the draft assets to attack both positions potentially. If we look at the cornerback room for the Jets, here it is. So you have Brandon Stevens. He's a locked-in starter. He's starting at corner. He had a rough go at the beginning of the year and sort of, got the ship back on less choppy waters halfway through. So Brandon Stevens, he's a starter. I'm sure the Jets want Azareye'h Thomas to be a starter. They would love, if he is a starter, that's great for business. I'm not sure if we could just pencil him in as an unquestioned starter, though, at corner. And then we have Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who really burst on the scene last year after we traded and acquired him from the Tennessee Titans, and they're at slot corner. He had a lot of really good moments, and then he had some penalty issues, which is some of the bugaboo he had at Tennessee. So some beat reporters aren't so sure that he's a locked-in starter at slot corner. Perhaps they could add some competition there. So it seems like corner is a bigger need than we give it credence to, but I'm curious if, again, you guys can continue to vote on YouTube to tell me if it's a top 5 position of need. We'll also, have a special guest joining us later in the show. So more on that to come. But I agree with you, NC Green. I think pass rush is where I would highlight if it was me. Luby, Super Jets fan here. Corner has been a huge problem. It's either draft or free agency. We must see the draft board not falling our way with good players. Right. I would say that the Jets have 2 picks, of course, in the first round, 2nd overall and 16th overall. Corner at 2nd overall doesn't seem like that's happening. But 16th overall, is Mansour Delane on the board? Is Jermod McCoy on the board? Is one of those 2 top corners on the board? Possible. I've seen them going earlier in mock drafts, borderline top 10, borderline top 12, sometimes top 14. I've seen some of these corners go, so it sort of depends. But I guess it'll depend on what other players drop. So if other players get eaten up and the Jets have a chance at a top corner, maybe they go in that direction for a BPA strategy, best player available, very possible. Yeah, shout out to Hop on Pop, Mama in the chat. Yep. Ace of Spades says, no, don't break the bank at corner. There you go. The price is wrong, I'm hearing. The price is not right. It's not Nashawn right. It's Nashawn wrong. Okay. CT Jets fan was waiting in here as soon as the show started. Offense, defense, special teams. Oh, that Hep song is catchy. I'll tell you that. Good morning, CT Jets fan. Party with Peg and Artie. Great to see you guys in here. Our moderator, Jared B's in here. Hey now. Johnny Boy's in here. Hep's in here. Very nice to see you guys. Appreciate it. We'll open up the phone lines in a little bit and have you guys on the program. Yes. The Hop on Pop talking about my mother tossing me around in the Taekwondo dojang. Yes, that did happen. Yep. I can confirm. Hop on Pop in ATL. I guess the New Orleans trip is over. There you go. There you go. Hopefully you guys had a good time. FZod to God compares it to, and by the way, love all the activity recently. FZod to God 36 on the MC show, digital show, and on this show. That's been a lot of fun to see us, so thank you. A little something like Ty Simpson only played 16 college career games. So, yeah, again, the limited sample size, there's a lot of, we can point to the draft. We can point to free agency. Again, another guy that's popular. We already did a show on him, but Malik Willis, 6 career starts. And I'm not saying that guarantees that person is a failure. I'm not saying that for Nashawn Wright, this Pro Bowl Bears corner from this year. I'm not saying that about Malik Willis or Ty Simpson or anyone. But it's just worth noting. It's worth talking about. It's worth having a conversation about it. Or do we feel comfortable with these people that have very limited sample sizes and we're making these grandiose opinions off just this? Again, I'm not saying that guarantees failure, but it's risky. It's risky to see this and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to extrapolate this out. This is going to be this. Well, I don't know. That feels a little overarching. That feels a little presumptuous. That feels a little, aggressive, perhaps. Yeah, so that's why, for those reasons, Shark Tank style, I'm out. I'm like a guy like Malik Willis. Nashawn Wright, again, that seems like a lot of Buco bucks. I'm not sure if I'm willing to swim there. Good point. NC Green bringing up the last 2 Super Bowls, saying, hey, look what pressure did to Drake May and Patrick Mahomes in the last 2 Super Bowls. It's a good point. Dave Briga says, face it, the Jets need everything except offensive tackles. Let's see. So quarterback, sure. Running back, it depends on the Breece Hall situation. If they bring back Breece Hall, I guess running back isn't as much of a need. Wide receiver, they need more. You could argue for a tight end. Tackles are locked in. You do need guard help, potentially center help. All right, let's go on defense. Defensive tackle, yeah. Defensive end, yeah. Off-ball linebacker, yeah. Cornerback, yeah. Safety, yeah. Kicker, even, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of needs. Punter, we got that in. Whoop. Austin McNamara, we got punter down, that's for sure. A long snapper, whoop, got that down. Now we got a couple. We got a couple of things. Appreciate your tank for Ty. Ty Simpson is QB1. Great to see you in here, buddy. Great to see you in here, pal. Thanks for gracing us with your presence. Yeah, Yo Holmes, spitting gospel here. Doesn't matter who plays corner if the front 7 can't get to the quarterback. Damn straight. That's true. Accurate information from Yo Holmes. That's not always the case. Wink. I'm just kidding. Yeah, there you go. Old Yank, good morning, Coffee Club. Good to see you. Yeah. Ronald, let's go to Ronald here. Throw this up. Ronald Perry. I'm officially dubbed the GM here, so what we need is pass rush, first round. Okay. And that's a very possible solution at second overall. I could totally see that. NY Jets fandom, great to see you in here, buddy. For sure. Nage Iboko, good morning. Good to see you in here. NY Jets fandom says BPA, and if it's an offensive lineman, I wouldn't mind a dominant OL. Yeah, I've sort of gone back and forth on this. Daniel Jeremiah in his 2.0 mock draft, he had the Jets going with the Penn State big man guard, who that would be a possible play if the Jets, free agency, of course, comes before the draft. If they pass on AVT and John Simpson, and the Jets get the new Penn State kid, Vega, and you go Olumuyiwa, Vega, Josh Myers for now. Maybe you could upgrade center and free agency. Joe Tippmann, Armand Membu, like, holy blank. If you're going to overindulge at a position, offensive line isn't a bad place to do it because the offensive line impacts everything else. It's a straw that stirs the drink. If the offensive line is protecting for longer, that means whoever's playing quarterback is a better quarterback for it. Even if it's a crappy quarterback, they're better because of that offensive line. If the offensive line is blowing holes in the run game, whoever the hell is the running back, net benefit. Whoever's playing wide receiver, if the quarterback has more time, that's more time for him to get the ball to you. So sure. At this point, I don't love taking Vega at 16th overall. I know a lot of people are super high on him. The AVT vibes, not the injury way, just like of his potential and what we talked about in 2021, 5 years ago, about ABT's so good. I know he's a guard, but he's so good you're going to want him. And when he's been healthy, that's been proven true. So yeah, so that would be overkill. Again, since 2020, the Jets have invested 4 first-round picks on the offensive line. Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Olu Muiwa, Armand, and then if Vega was the 5th, that would be obviously the 5th offensive line first-round pick the Jets have used since 2020, which, by the way, it's already the most in the NFL with 4. It would be even more most in the NFL with 5. Now, I'll tell you this is an interesting bit of history for Jet fans that do know this or don't. From 2007 to 2019, okay, that's a 13-year sample size, the Jets didn't take a single offensive lineman in the first round. Let me repeat that one more time for the people in the back. Between the 2007 NFL draft and the 2019 NFL draft, the Jets didn't take a single offensive lineman in the first round. Prior to that drought I pointed out, in 2006, of course, the Jets double-dipped on the offensive line. DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, and Nick Mangold, God rest his soul. We had a double dip of offensive linemen in 2006. And then we went on a 13-year drought with nothing. And now I guess we're making up for lost time. Again, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Tucker, Olu Muiwa, Armand Membu. I guess, again, we're making up for lost time there after that 13-year drought. Now we got to overcompensate for the years of not having it. So, hey, offensive line play leads everywhere else. Coffee Club cheers to Hennessy Heisman here in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Mark Sachetti in here. Very nice. Mahar Khalil, Mac Attack. Good morning. Coffee Club. Double up on edge. That wouldn't be a bad strategy either. I haven't seen that one a lot. Where you'd go like 2 and 16 at edge. 2 for sure. Definitely possible. And quite frankly, probably the most likely result at this point. Arvell Reese, David Bailey, or Ruben Bain. With it more being between David Bailey and Arvell Reese at this point, if you look at all the odds. And then if you came back, could you get, like, especially if you did the Bain Mesidor, you just get both teammates and go to town. Maybe you could do a double dip on front 7. I haven't thought about that much, but that's possible. Mac, that's possible. Oh, wow, isn't that crazy? Ronald Perry says, my kid's middle name is Nanga Iboko. Small world. Wow, there you go. Nanga, see? People out there in the universe. Yeah. Speaking of, Nangi Boko says, if Ty Simpson shows anything over the next month, he's going top 10. Yeah, he's going to have an opportunity, especially since it sounds like, by all accounts, Fernando Mendoza is not going to throw at the combine. If Ty Simpson throws at the combine, it's him and everybody else. Everyone says it's Fernando and then a gap. But the gap is Ty Simpson is clearly QB2. He will have a chance to really sort of get the juices flowing on his stock. Absolutely. The combine will be important. That starts next week. All the Yank says we have bigger fish to fry beyond corner. That makes sense. I could see that. Yeah, we went through a lot of the names there. Hep says, let's go get Linderbaum. Again, I've been pounding the table for it. I'm sure I'll do at a minimum, a free agency mock off season where I'm going to sort of plan it out and we'll post the video and I'll tell you guys what I would do. And free agents I would chase. And one of the things I would absolutely do is make Tyler Linderbaum the highest paid center in NFL history and bring him in here. I absolutely would. Naga, going back to that offensive line conversation, says if the Jets did go O-line at 16, they could potentially control the line of scrimmage consistently, which, again, whoever's playing quarterback, that'd be a net benefit. That'd be a lot of resources into the trenches, again, because, you know, most normal teams can find a left guard in free agency, the 3rd round, the 4th round, the 5th round. Hey, back in the day, what was that, 2009? The Jets had a 3-man class. It was Mark Sanchez at 5th overall. It was Sean Green in the 3rd round, and I believe it was a Matt Slauson in the 6th round. And Sean Green, I remember him being an Iowa product, and I believe Matt Slauson was a Nebraska guy. Let me see if that's true. See, everyone says my memory sucks, but if I just came up with that useless trivia history, that'd be pretty impressive. Let me see if I'm right on that. That's worth a 2009 double check on the old draft machine. If I was, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. It's 2026. Let's see. Let's see if old boy Green was right. If I was right, I will champion it. If I was wrong, like, come on, it was a million years ago. Okay. Nailed it. Yes. Okay. Hey, nice. Way to go, Paul. Pat yourself on the back, buddy. Nice. Nailed the rounds and the colleges. Very nice job, Paul. Very nice job. Nice job. If you don't pat yourself on the back, who will pat yourself on the back? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys like the video, by the way. We have over 200 people in the room. Appreciate it here. Like the video here on YouTube, baby. It's a free way to contribute to the show. Also, get those memberships flowing. We had a nice run yesterday. Memberships, super chats, super stickers. We have our raffle contest. I'll promote that here in just a few minutes. Yeah, baby. Good morning, Barbara. We have Barbara on the chat. Good morning, Coffee Club. Good to see you in here, Barbara. Great to see you. Yeah, we do need a lot. Yeah. It's some of the needs I was talking about there. Austrian Jets fan. Good morning, by the way. We need linebacker. That's for sure. Jamian was a big disappointment. I know his tackles were high, which will rev my father's engine, but yeah, he was a big disappointment last year. So I don't know if you just get rid of him and trade him somewhere like DeSala in Tennessee or Ulbrich in Atlanta or Rudy in Cleveland. I don't know if you do that, but even if you keep him, you still need more. And boy, is that a big hole in the lineup. And then you're in that trouble spot, right? A lot of people like Sonny Styles, but they say Sonny Styles at 2 is crazy, and he won't be there at 16. So then what do you do if you're the Jets? You trade up for a Sonny Styles? Do you go get Devin Lloyd in free agency? That's another big name on my mock off season. Then I may say, ooh-wee, I might be getting some Devin Lloyd action, baby. Yeah, I have some crazy ideas for what I'll do on this mock free agency. That's for sure. Let's go to Ryan King. Good morning, Ryan. Welcome to the show, baby. Good to have you on. Old Yank says, I like the fact of a dominant offensive line, but without a half-ass solid defense, we're screwed. Yeah, well, Rome wasn't built in a day, I suppose. It was not built in a day. Old Yank says center could be better for sure. I like Myers, but it could be better. If I'm not mistaken, that's where a lot of pressures came from. Yeah, again, this is sort of how I see Josh Myers. Is he the worst center in the NFL? No. Is he the best? Definitely not. But is he just sort of, with all due respect, mediocre? And I mean that in the nicest of ways, if that can be interpreted in that way. He's fine. He's just fine. Not everyone has to be a superstar, which again goes back to the point of like not everyone has to be a first round pick either, which is why I'd probably stay away from Vega. But you have to play the board as it lies. The draft is an amorphous thing that goes all over the place, and I don't want you to, overdraft something for need. The Jets have a lot of needs. They shouldn't have to overdraft anything. They should be able to get basically whoever they want at a variety of positions. Nagi Boko says, Jeremiah Lovett to Vega at 16. Well, that would be an offense. That would chime the bell for me, Happen. I'm sure a few others have been saying offense. That'd be a fun one. NC Green says a lot will depend on the re-signing of ABT. I think ABT is going to hit the market. I'd be surprised if somewhere between now here on February 19th and March 11th, which is the start of the new league year, that if we get a dun-dun-dun, ABT is re-signed with the Jets, I'll be surprised. I think he wants to test the open market. If we could get him off the open market, that's possible. But to just re-sign him beforehand, that would surprise me. Hep says resetting the clock at guard is not a bad idea because we are going to have to pay Tippmann. And Tippmann apparently is going to want some buco bucks. Ritzamini said that his contract could start with a $12 million. That's where the negotiations could be, which I don't mind paying for Joe Tippmann. He's really good. But then what do you do at the other guard spot? Instead of paying two guys, because in theory, ABT is either going to be the 1 year prove it or he's going to get a multi-year deal. It's going to be one of those two. And the multi-year deal, I imagine, is pretty serious money. So you're paying pretty serious money to both guards. I mean, it's important. Ronald Naga Iboko Perry says, of course, we're the recipients of people's garbage. I call it leftover century. Can't draft quarterbacks. It has been very difficult, unfortunately, for the Jets. It's been choppy waters for the green and white. There's no question about it. Very choppy. Ooh, that's an interesting one from Taylor Sterling. So you go David Bailey, Lee Hunter, and Jacob Rodriguez. Just go Texas Tech defense. Not a bad strategy. Not a bad strategy. Jay Reeves has a personal problem with people who double dip at parties. We can't double dip on anything, he says. Hey, in a party setting, yeah, no double dip of the chip, man. That dips for everybody. Makes a lot of sense, Three Sibs. Makes a lot of sense against the double dip potential strategy. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll keep going through your comments and whatnot, but number one Austrian Jet fan just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, baby. Let's go. The sounds of draft chimes. That went to FZod to God 36. There you go, FZod. You just got a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. You know, test out the waters, my friend. Enjoy all the perks of the coffee club, and then at the end of the month, you're going to get an email, FZod to God36, and it will say, do you want to stick around? And you say yes. And then stick around for all the fun. It's been great to have you very engaged in the chat, so appreciate that. Thank you, number one Australian Jet fan. 42 raffle tickets so far this month. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Which, by the way, let's promote real quick the raffle for this month. If you're new to the channel, first off, my name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. I write Jets articles every single day. Speculation, news, things that interest me, and occasionally I bring it over here to the show, like this topic in particular. I covered in a story a couple days ago. I said, oh, that'd be an interesting topic on one of these days, and then we attack the topic and sort of talk about how it all works through. We do raffle giveaways every single month. So on the first of every month, whatever raffle tickets were donated the previous month, you're in the running. So to be in the running for any of my raffles, I try to make it as affordable as possible for the people. It's $3, $3 bills. That's it. If you spend $3 on the channel, you have a chance to win all of our prizes. Obviously, the more raffle tickets you have, the better your chances. Here are the raffle prizes for this month, baby. It is a Darrelle Revis jersey. It's a pair of New York Jets shorts. It's a Boy Green Woody tailgate package. We only have a few more of these left. And then I will grab a hat from my personal Jets collection, and I will grab it off the wall, and I'll throw it into the raffle. And for those who don't know, I'm a big hat snob. I love hats. I have a lot of Jet hats, Jet draft hats, autographed hats. I've got a lot of fun stuff in my collection. And I'll pluck a hat off the wall and throw it into the raffle. So, Austrian, appreciate you, buddy. Let's keep those raffle tickets flowing. Let's keep the vibes high, baby. If you enjoy the show, that's a way to contribute. It's a way to contribute to the program. Damn straight. Appreciate you, Austrian. By the way, like I said, we have over 200 people in the room, including over 100 of those on YouTube. Guys, hit that like button. That is absolutely free to do. Make it a part of your routine. As you come in the room, just hit that like button. We're already up to 51 likes, which I appreciate. But there's another 50 of you in the room that haven't liked the video yet. Feel free to do that. Also, hit that subscribe button, baby. We have a goal. It's on some board written in my house somewhere. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and every little piece helps, baby. We're getting closer and closer to 8,390 subscribers. We're only a few subscribers away. All right, let's go through some more of your comments here before we open up the phone lines. Ooh, FSOD to God36 says, I have a Jet hat signed by the Sack Exchange. That's super cool. It's hard to see, but because I've rearranged a few things, but that green helmet up there, right there, boop, 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 is signed by the New York Sack Exchange. It's one of the coolest memorabilia items I have. I'm going to have to flip everything because we have the projector here for the games and that dragon from my brother and stuff. So we have an Olu. You see Olu's bobblehead up here. I'm going to have to readjust it. Let me readjust that real quick. Let me see. Just try. Is that better? Okay. All right. There it is. You can see it a little bit better. There are the autographs, baby, for there as well. The whole New York Sack Exchange. I got lucky. I had a 4-leaf clover shoved up a certain orifice. One of my guys I was on radio for 10 years here locally in Syracuse. And there was a fan, his name's Joshua, who texted me and said, hey, buddy, they're doing like a giveaway for the New York Sack Exchange helmet. And they said, you know, it's something like there's 10 or 20 spots there, and the spots are $20 a piece, and you can buy as many as you want. And then they're going to randomly draw a winner. And then if you win, you win. I'm like, oh, cool. I normally don't do that sort of thing, but I'm like, all right, I'll throw $20 in. I threw $20 in. I got the call and I won the helmet. I'm like, no friggin' way. I won the helmet. And so I had to pay for shipping and stuff too, but they sent the helmet to my house, and it's a video lost in history. I'll have to refine that video and upload it for the members, Coffee Club and Espresso Club members, and show that box reveal video from that, or put it on the Discord or something. It's super cool. So yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces I have. I have a few autographed jerseys. We're going to rearrange the backdrop here eventually, for sure. So we'll do some of that, but oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Hey, wait a second, baby. I see this. Whoa. The Meadowlands Swamp Thing doesn't need someone else to gift a membership. The Meadowlands Swamp Thing says, I will join the Boy Green Coffee Club myself. For joining the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Punching their own ticket to the show. If you guys want to join the Boy Green Coffee Club, that is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. Eventually, that'll be the call-in link. But yes, the Meadowlands Swamp Thing, by the way, you are in our raffle, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Let's freaking go. That is a raffle ticket for our contest. That's, to me, one of the best deals that we have here in the universe is the Boy Green Coffee Club. You join the Boy Green Coffee Club yourself. You get all the perks of being a Boy Green Coffee Club member. Loyalty badges you see here. Your name gets highlighted in a green color. So when I see your comments in the chat, I highlight those more than non-Boy Green Coffee Club members. And you get early access to videos. We're going to have some big-time guests this offseason. You guys will get those videos before the general public, which is pretty gosh darn cool. So Meadowlands Swamp Thing, thanks for joining. And here's a quick plug, by the way. I appreciate you joining the Boy Green Coffee Club. There are 2 potential membership levels you guys can join out there in the audience. There's the Boy Green Coffee Club for $2.99. That's the OGs, baby. That's we've had that since the very beginning, and that's a cool way to contribute for, like I said, an affordable price. If you think I'm funny or informational, or you get something out of this show, that's a cool way to support the program. But there's a new membership group we created in January. It's called the Boy Green Espresso Club. It's double the price. It's the double espresso shot, but we give you a bunch of new content, and you get everything from the previous level. So if you want to join the Boy Green Espresso Club, the creme de la creme of this group, the special sauce, the double espresso shot of it, is every month we do a live show just for you guys in the Boy Green Espresso Club. So feel free to join. You can hit the upgrade button if you'd like. You can click that link that's pinned right now in the comment section, or click the link down in the YouTube description down below to upgrade your membership level. Some people have problems with it, so you sometimes have to cancel your Boy Green Coffee Club membership and then re-go for the Espresso Club to get it. But the cool thing about the Espresso Club is, again, we do a live show every month. We did our first one last month. It went over 4 hours. We talked about all kinds of things in the universe. People were ranking some of their favorite callers on the show, some of the callers they don't like, which was fun. They talked about New York Jets. We talked draft stuff, free agency stuff, career stuff. I mean, we got into all kinds of funky stuff. And this is a cool perk of the Boy Green Espresso Club. You get 5 bonus raffle tickets to our contest. Think about this. Raffle tickets on my channel, as I explained, are $3 a pop. Okay, so 5 raffle tickets are $15, right? But if you join the Boy Green Espresso Club, which is only $6, you get free raffle tickets. And not only do you get free raffle tickets, every month you remain a Boy Green Espresso Club member, you get 5 more raffle tickets for our next contest. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark. So make sure you guys join in if that's something that you vibe with, as the kids say. So Meadowlands Swamp Thing, welcome back, baby. Appreciate you. You are in the raffle. Let's frickin' go. Yes, sir. Meadowlands Swamp Thing. Member for 19 months, baby. Flex on them. Yeah. 19 months. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Uncle Indy says 10K on the way. Man, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my hands when we get to 10K, because I know it's going to happen. I believe in the people. It will happen eventually. I don't even know what I'm going to do when we get 10K. That'll be pretty cool, man. Taylor Sterling says Reek Woolen would be a great pickup. We need a leader on the back end of the defense, but I don't know if I want to pay any top free agent. Now, according to the projections, Reek Woolen actually is going to get a cheap deal. It's a 1-year deal for like less than $10 million. I wrote a story about that. We could probably combine that in here because we're talking about corners. So here's the thing on Reek. he is freakish. If you were building a corner on a lab table, it'd probably look like Garrett Wilson. He's 6'4", 200 plus pounds. He has all the traits. Former UTSA product. The problem is that he runs a little hot sometimes. He had that stupid penalty in the Seahawks-Rams game where, and thankfully it didn't cost them, but the Seahawks just got to stop on defense. And his full birth certificate name is Tariq, but now he goes by Reek. Garrett Wilson went to the Rams sideline, was talking shit. Like so much shit that the ref threw a flag. And instead of the Rams punting, they got a fresh set of downs, and that could have been a disaster. That could have cost Seattle dearly in that game. Thankfully for Reek, it did not. So he sometimes does stupid stuff, and he's been benched a few times in his career. Obviously, again, he's a ball hawk. I think he has 12 picks in his 4 years in the league. So he's talented. There's no question about it. But, there's some baggage that comes with Reek, which is probably why his projection is a 1-year deal, is that a prove-it deal to show that, he's on the right course. So I'm not opposed to Reek. Super talented guy. Super talented piece of clay. Nanga Iboko says, sack exchange was awesome. Remember the Gasno dance after sacks? I sure do. I would mimic it if I could. But I don't have the ability to do that. And, it sucks for Mark because, sack dances now are like a cool thing. Like back in the day, Sean Lights Out Merriman in the early 2000s doing the lights out. Boom, 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 boom. That was a cool one. People have other cool sack dances. Jason Taylor had the whoop, boom. And other people have all kinds of sack dances. But in Mark Gasno's day, they weren't as appreciated as they were now, which sort of sucks for Mark because, when you do a sack dance, people perceive it as a you thing. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Screw the team, look at me. And that rubbed some people the wrong way, as we saw in the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. So, yeah. Shout out to Joe Klecko. Yeah. People are talking about some other Joe Klecko action. Craig Mechanics, give a shout out to Craig Mechanics, one of our Boy Green Espresso Club members. Good morning, Coffee Club. Defense, offensive line, receiver. First 4 picks, top 44 in the draft. I don't mind that strategy, potentially. Again, depending on who that O-lineman is. So wide receiver, I was just listening to Mel Kipa Jr. He was on the Rich Eisen show, which is now on ESPN Radio. And when Rich asked him, I think the first question in the interview was, what is the deepest positional group in this draft? And Mel Kiper says, wide receivers. You are going to find starting receivers going into the 3rd round. So if you're the Jets, that gives you a choice. Do you want one of the upper echelon top guys, potentially, at the top? Or do you want, like, a serviceable guy with Garrett, just someone that can just sort of do some things if left to their own devices? That would be an interesting conversation to have. Certainly. Hennessy Heisman, Woolen over Sauce. Well, I guess we could say that with a little bit more of our chest now that Sauce isn't here, I guess. I remember those debates in year 1. The thing that Woolen definitely deserves credit for is he was super talented, but he was taken in the 5th round. Sauce was taken 4th overall. So if you're maximizing your origin stories, Reek definitely deserved a lot of love for sure. I remember so many Seahawks fans talking so much shit about that. That was funny. But now we can talk about it in a different light, which is hilarious. Taylor Strolling, I like him hot. Whoa, all right. You might want to save that for Boy Green After Dark there, buddy. But he likes him hot. Nice. Different strokes, different folks. M. Villette says we have the 32nd head coach, the 32nd quarterback room, the 32nd wide receiver room, 32nd defensive line room, and 32nd quarterback room. All right, let's go through this, okay? So 32nd head coach, if you want to say that, fine. Aaron Glenn ran 14. He has no history. If you want to put him there, that's fine. Quarterback room, 32nd. I can't disagree there. Our quarterback room sucks, 32nd. Wide receiver room, come on. I'm not saying our wide receiver room is great, but we have Garrett Wilson. Plenty of teams in the league don't have a Garrett Wilson. So the Jets do not have the 32nd ranked wide receiver room. We could be, I could have honest conversation. I just told you, if you want to perceive Aaron Glenn as the worst head coach in the league, fine. it is what it is. If you want to give people that have a 0-0 record that are first-time head coaches benefit of the doubt, fine, because we've seen what Aaron Glenn is, and we haven't seen what those guys are, fine. You want to say that? Okay. Quarterbacks, fine. I can't say anything. Our quarterbacks suck. Our wide receivers, come on, man. Come on. Envelope, come on. Come on. I know you like hitting my beehive here. You like kicking my bee's nest and seeing if I'll react. The wide receiver room is not 30-second. Come on. Garrett needs help. This brother needs help, but it ain't 30-second. Come on. Defensive line room, I wouldn't rank it 32nd. I mean, obviously, in terms of pass rush production, it was 31st. They do need help, though, at defensive tackle and defensive end. But you got a couple of pieces there. I like Harrison Phillips. I like some Jawan Briggs. Jermaine Johnson's going to be another year off the Achilles. That should be better. Will McDonald has 18 and a half sacks over the last 2 years, but you could do better. And then the 32nd ranked cornerback room, it's not great. I wouldn't say it's 32nd. It's probably bottom tier, though. So you got me on head coach, possibly. You got me on quarterback for sure. But I throw some challenge flags on some of these other ones, buddy. I throw some challenge flags. I throw some challenge flags. I don't know about all that. Mr. Famous Fulton says Michael Pittman Jr. could shake free. Yes, if you guys saw our interview, we had NFL insider Matt Lombardo. We'll have Matt Lombardo back. I believe he's back this Sunday. And we'll have some live stuff with him from the Combine, which will be some cool exclusive content. We'll keep you guys posted on that. But he joined us yesterday. We played the game tag or no tag. We went through all the players that are eligible to be franchise tagged, of course, including Breece Hall. And he had some interesting nuggets on the Colts situation. He believes the Colts will franchise tag Alec Pierce. And if they do that, Michael Pittman could shake free. And I cut up the video from our live show and posted it in the video section about that possible trade idea. And I wrote about it too. So we could talk about it probably on a different episode. But yeah, Mr. Famous Fulton is bringing up Michael Pittman could be on the move. I like Michael Pittman as a potential wide receiver too with old Garrett Wilson. That excites me. That's one that I'm like, okay, all right. That's for sure. Oh, come on. What is some of this Garrett Wilson slander? All right, let's go to this. Undisputed retail here. Garrett Wilson is overrated, BG. He's not even top 20? What? That is why when we had Devontae, he took a step back. Garrett is at best a wide receiver 3. Oh, come on, man. Come on. What is this? Oh. I'm not going to do it. No. You guys are not going to rile me up. No. Not top 20? Wide receiver 3? A wide receiver 3? I don't want to do this. I don't want to yell. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But this is, come on, man. This is ridiculous. Not top 20? Come on, man. Look at some. Garrett Wilson over the last 3 years has had 2 of the 3 best catches of the year. Okay? That shows the talent. We had the bobbling catch that Zach Wilson threw him in 2023. Buffalo Bills Week 1 Monday Night Football, back of the end zone. Boop, 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 boop. That catch, freaking insane. The Houston, I mean, quite frankly, he had 2 top-of-the-year catches in the Houston game. He had the one where he caught it one-handed and then hauled in and walked it in the end zone. And we said, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. But then it immediately got overshadowed by the Air Jordan one in the back of the end zone. Garrett Wilson is a freak. And if he had competent quarterback play, I tell you, people in the audience, he would be in the Jamar Chase conversation. He would be in the Justin Jefferson conversation. Now, I want to make this clear. He's not in that conversation right now because he doesn't have the requisite production. He's been really productive for a Jets wide receiver. His first 3 years, 80 catches, 1,000 yards every year, no matter who the quarterback is, and that deserves a lot of love. But if he had actual good quarterback play, he'd have 100-plus catches every year. He'd have 1,400 yards. He'd have double-digit touchdowns, which, by the way, before he got hurt this season, he was on pace for a career year in every major category. He was on pace for a career high in catches. He would have had like 107 or something. He was on pace for career high in yards. He would have had 1,300 yards, and he would have had 11 touchdowns. That was what he was on pace for before he got hurt. So don't be giving me this Garrett Wilson slander. Undisputed retail. Well, I'm disputing. I've got a dispute with your HR department that I'd like to bring up because this is ridiculous nonsense. Garrett Wilson is a freaking superstar wide receiver. And again, get him quarterback play, and then let's talk. If we get him a really good quarterback and he doesn't produce, then we could revisit your wide receiver 3 top 20 nonsense. Not even top. Come on, man. You don't even believe that. You don't believe that. Stop it. Get the hell out. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Just trash. Jay Reeves. He had Aaron Rodgers, and he's the 18th best, I misread that. A 1B receiver. It's not a 1B receiver. I disagree with that. The Aaron Rodgers thing here's the problem. If Devontae didn't have the pre-existing relationship with Aaron Rodgers, if he was just Devontae Adams, then maybe we would have seen what I was hoping to see with Garrett Wilson having somebody opposite. The problem with the Aaron Rodgers thing is that Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers have a man crush on each other. And Aaron Rodgers forced the ball to Devontae. The targets tell the truth. Look at the numbers, people. Garrett Wilson was ignored in the red zone when Devontae Adams was acquired, and the ball was force-fed. Look at the targets. They speak for themselves. I was naive. I've admitted this in the past. I'll continue to admit my mistakes. I thought Devontae coming here would be a good thing for Garrett. He'd have a professional that's done it at a high level for a long time, and Garrett could learn a lot from that, and that Devontae would be the 1B to Garrett Wilson's 1A. That's what I thought was going to happen, and I underrated the relationship between Aaron and Devontae and the force feeding of targets. I underrated that, and I was an idiot for it. But he is not a 1B receiver. He is a superstar wide receiver. And again, the only reason that we don't put Garrett Wilson in a higher light, the only reason we don't do that is because his quarterback play sucks. If the quarterback play was better, Garrett would be in a different conversation, which is a beautiful way to bring in our guest. The wonderful, the handsome, the talented, the intelligent, a clear man of reason, I'm sure, based on whatever he answers this question on. Let's bring him in. The beat reporter from JetsXFactor.com, the one and only Nick Faria, joins us in his normal weekly spot here on a Thursday. Nick, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Great to be back on, Paul.
I just received a note from a fan that let me highlight it because it just doesn't do it justice if I don't put it on the screen here. So let me grab this for you, Nick. What an explosive way to start this. Okay. So here it is. Undisputed Retail says Garrett Wilson is overrated, Boy Green. He's not even a top 20 receiver. That's why when he was here with Devontae Adams, he took a step back. At best, Garrett Wilson is a wide receiver 3. Nick, what's your response?
All right. First off, I'm not going to take this comment seriously if we're talking about Garrett Wilson as a wide receiver 3. That's ludicrous. I just want to get a takeout for the sake of getting a takeout. I don't actually believe that. Okay. I don't think anyone on the planet would suggest that he's a wide receiver 3 in any offense. Right. I do think there is some question to be made about, is he worth the contract that he received because of the fact that they don't have a quarterback. You're paying a wide receiver all this big time money. You're hoping for a little bit more production. But when he talked about the Jets offense, he walked into an offensive system with Nathaniel Hackett that was very archaic. Wasn't really focused on getting receivers open, scheming receivers open. And just last season, he was on pace for another 1,000-yard, 100-catch year and a career high in touchdowns before his knee injury. But even then, he was open on a lot of routes, and his starting quarterback could not get him the football. Physically could not get him the football due to his limitations as a processor and due to his limitations as a quarterback. So to me, no, he's not overrated. I think the question is about his contract, which is certainly fair. But if you have a competent quarterback, a receiver like this becomes an all-pro. You look at what happened with Terry McLaurin last season with Jaden Daniels. Everyone talked about how great and consistent McLaurin has been throughout his entire career with all these different quarterbacks throwing to him. And the 1 year he has a truly great quarterback throwing him the football, he sets a career high in touchdowns. He's an all-pro. He's one of the key reasons why Washington was in the conference championship. So I consider Garrett Wilson to be very similar to Terry McLaurin. He's a true number 1 receiver. Is he worth the kind of money that Justin Jefferson makes? I don't think so. I think Jefferson is clearly a hands-down better player. But I do think he's a number one. I do think that if you put him on most other teams, that he's their top receiving threat. And people will point to the time with Davante Adams. But the one thing people need to understand is that because Davante Adams was better, or because Aaron Rodgers was more accustomed to playing with Davante Adams? It took a little bit for Adams to get accustomed to playing with Aaron Rodgers when he first came to the NFL, and then it became his number one target. Before, it used to be Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings and all those guys, and Davante Adams was kind of fighting for targets. I look at where the Jets are, and I look at where Garrett Wilson is, and the only reason why he was not the clear-cut number one guy in 2024 was because Rodgers didn't really want him to be at that point.
I agree. And I think, again, that's I've admitted it before. I think my problem that I underrated was how much I thought Davante would help Garrett. I said, oh, wow, Garrett, like, man, what can't you learn from Davante? He's been around forever. He could give him all kinds of nuances in that wide receiver room when they're looking at tape. This is going to be great. I didn't realize how much Aaron Rodgers is going to force the ball to Davante. So I'm an idiot, and I fully admit that. There's no question about it. You know, we do have free agency coming up in less than a month. We have the combine coming up next week. But when teams cut players, for those who don't know, free agency can start early for some of these guys that hit the market that are cap casualties. And I saw Nick Faria. You're one of my favorite follows on Twitter. I love Nick Faria. I love me some Nick Faria. And I saw when Bradley Chubb was cut by our division rival, the Miami Dolphins, you went, give me some Bradley Chubb action. And we were just talking about the pass rush needs for the New York Jets. Please expound upon your thoughts on why you think Bradley Chubb of the Jets is a match made in heaven.
Simple. Very, very, very simple. He had how many sacks last season?
I'm not sure. How many did
I believe it was 8.5.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Check me, but I believe it was 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, let me get that.
He had 8.5 sacks, and that was probably his worst season as a pro. He's been injured. He's nowhere near the top 5 overall pick that he was made to be.
8.5. 8.5 last year, and then 11 in 2023. Some good production there.
But in a down year, he had 8.5 sacks. And again, I'm of the opinion where if the Jets cannot get their quarterback in round 1, then they need to get the best player available on defense, a top receiver, surround your new quarterback with top talent. When you have a defensive line, you don't just have 2 really good guys, a good defensive tackle, and that's it. You have nothing else to do. You need depth. You need guys that can come in and get to the quarterback, help in the terms of the leadership perspective. So, I there were a lot of fans that were questioning, why would we go after Chubb? He sucked last year. We could just draft defensive linemen in the upcoming selection process. And I said, yeah, you could. But do you have a veteran presence to sort of bring in all these young guys together? Do you have the kind of veteran that can come in and give you 5 sacks on limited pass rush reps? I mean, right now, the Jets do not. Right now, their number 3 guy is Michael Clemens. You need to upgrade the number 3 edge rusher. You need to upgrade that depth along the defensive line so you're not trotting out the same 4 guys over and over again. So, yeah, Bradley Chubb, of course, makes sense. You're not going to put him in a situation where he's playing, 70, 80% of the snaps. You're going to put him in as part of the rotation. And we got to remember, the best Jets defenses over the last few years under Robert Saleh essentially took 4 down linemen and transitioned them 3 or 4 times a series. It was a rotation-based pass rush that was one of the best in football. So I look at that situation, and listen, Robert Saleh did a lot of things wrong. No one's going to deny that. But when you have a rotational edge rush and pass rush that is really, really good, that consists of a blend of veterans and rookies and young players, that is the pre-ultimate what you want to see out of a defensive line. So, yes, Bradley Chubb 1,000% makes a lot of sense. He can come in, get you a couple of sacks throughout. He can help stabilize the pass rush. He can help stabilize the run defense, which was not actually as bad as the analytics show his pass rush was last season. I consider that a no-brainer more than anything else. And I think anyone that doesn't is looking at it from a very obtuse perspective of, we just need guys, and I'm going to be angry with whoever we're going to be tied to because I don't like this free agent class.
which is going to happen a lot, Nick. So we both need to get used to those complaints, I'm sure, coming from the peanut gallery. I'm curious, this is a two-parter. How aggressive will the New York Jets be in trying to find a complement to Garrett Wilson at wide receiver? Because the Dolphins cut another guy in Tyreek Hill, and immediately I think
he's going to Kansas City. Come on. Let's bypass that. We all know where he's going.
Okay, Kansas City, yeah. But anyone that gets cut, every Jet fan in the universe is going to go, like that's going to happen for all these people, and hey, Jet fans, I don't blame you. We should all speculate on every possibility out there in the universe. Okay, then let's throw Tyreek Hill aside because I didn't want him anyway. So good. Go to Kansas City, reunite. We are family. Balloons will be waiting for you in Kansas City, I'm sure. How aggressive will the Jets be to find a wide receiver two for Garrett? Whether that's free agency, trade market, perhaps draft. Where's it coming from?
It's going to happen. 100%. It's going to happen. It just depends on where it's coming from, and that's where Jets fans hate to hear this, but they got to be patient because I think the one team that the Jets are going to be looking at is Indianapolis. To really determine what exactly happens there. Are they going to let Alec Pierce walk? Are they going to release Michael Pittman? Those kind of questions are going to kind of leave everything up in the air. So I do think that they are going to try to be aggressive in free agency. I also think, quite frankly, they could get a number 2, borderline number 1 receiver in the draft at 16. I really like Mekhi Lemon. And as I have said repeatedly, throughout this month of February, if you have a mock draft out and you're getting excited about all these different mock drafts, you are getting excited way too early, just way too early, because so many things are going to change. Yeah. If the Los Angeles Rams took Ty Simpson at 13, which I think is certainly on the table, I absolutely think it's on the table. You are essentially pushing down another top player to get closer to where the Jets are. Mm-hmm. That's what people need to understand. These drafts always change drastically. I look at the 2024 draft class. Everyone said, and everyone I've talked to said, that was one of the best draft classes we have seen from totality of quarterback to safety everywhere. Every position group was deep. Tackle, receiver, quarterback, defensive lineman, corners, everyone was deep. And what happened was the first 20 picks were all offense. All of them. Every single pick was offense. It was either quarterback, tackle, receiver. It was incredible. But you had guys like a Quinyon Mitchell, who everyone said was a top 10 player in this draft, fall into the 20s because of how the draft shaped out. The point and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because just because Cardell Tate may not be expected to be available at 16, and he probably won't be, but depending on how the draft shapes out, there could be a situation where a really good number 1 wide receiver or borderline number 1 wide receiver is available to the Jets at 16. They could also sit there and say, hey, you know what? We're going to take the receiver at 2. We're just going to sit there and take the receiver at 2, and we are going to solidify this offense around whatever quarterback we choose. That's also part of the equation. But to sit here and say where this team is going to go or what this team should or shouldn't do, way too early. We haven't hit free agency yet. The combine hasn't even started, and that's where most of these rumors kind of speculate. That's where a lot of these trade talks really begin.
We're in the middle of the 2-week period, Nick. So this is the first time talking to you since the tag window has opened, and it's open for a 2-week period through March 3rd. Zach Rosenblatt is sharing that the Jets are, quote unquote, likely to use the franchise tag on Breece Hall, and he believes it'll either be the non-exclusive or the transition tag. And there's a slight difference in price, $14.5 million to about $11.5 million on tag. Are you hearing those same things? What's the plan here with Breece Hall? Because, it's hard to listen to press conferences because you don't know what's truth or it's lying season. So you never know what's really true. But if you listen to AG and Daramuji, it sounds like they want to keep him. But you know what? They've also said things in the past, Jet for life and this, and then all of a sudden the player's gone tomorrow. So I'm not sure what to believe. What's the latest here on Breece Hall as we're in the middle of this franchise tag window?
Well, it's kind of the same thing I said last week. Look at the needs on the roster. Quarterback, wide receiver, guard, defensive line, linebacker, safety, corner. the Jets are not going to sit there and say, let's open up running back now and add this to the list so we can collect them like infinity stones for needs on the roster. It's not going to happen. Okay. So I do believe that they are going to place a tag. I would be surprised if not. I don't, if you were to ask me if it's the right decision or not, I've been pretty vocal on the fact that you shouldn't, give a large percentage of the salary cap to a running back unless he is a top 3 player and your offensive line is solidified and the rest of the team is a championship caliber roster. The Jets aren't there yet. I think they would be better off giving shorter deals, smaller deals to guys like Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Gainwell, those kinds of players. They're not better than Breece Hall, but as a collective unit, they're going to cost a lot less and you're going to trust more in your offensive line. That being said, I do think the Jets are going to try to retain Breece. The question's going to be, what happens when the tag or a tag is placed on Hall? Because we have seen throughout NFL history, we have seen over the last few years, players do not take kindly to being on a tag.
True. Yes.
So there could be a case where Breece Hall requests a trade. There could be a case where Breece Hall says, I'm not coming into work until you figure out a long-term deal. I'm not doing it, plain and simple. You want to play this game, that's fine, but I'm not showing up until that happens. And that's where I think the transition tag will probably come in a little bit of a better situation for the Jets, because it will allow Breece Hall to essentially look at his market and say, okay, how good am I as a player? What does the rest of the NFL think of me? And if they were to come out and say, yeah, you're an $11, $12 million player a year, then he can go, the Jets can look at that and say, okay, that's where the negotiation can start. That's where we'll be in terms of the negotiation. So I think it's probably a little more feasible for the Jets to put him on the transition tag, see where that market is, and they still have his right, so they'll be able to decline any offer, and then go to him and say, we'll give you this exact deal, maybe a little bit more of a sweetener. Welcome to being a Jet for the long-term future. I think that's probably the more feasible option at this point.
All right, let me ask it this way. You believe a tag will be placed. We could debate which tag it's going to be. There's 3 different tag options. If the Jets tag Breece Hall, are they doing it with the intention to keep him, or are they doing it with the intention to hold his rights that they can trade him? What is more likely of the two?
No, I think they would probably keep him. In the same way that the Giants handled Saquon Barkley, they look at Breece as a player. Listen, we need him on our offense. We don't have enough talent on this team right now to put up points, and Breece is one of the few people that can. So, yeah, the 100%. And again, he's only 24 years old. We got to remember that. The touches aren't, I remember when Ezekiel Elliott came out of the NFL draft and the Cowboys ran him dry after 2 years. And you saw immediately after those 2 years, he was done. He had nothing left because they gave him close to like 800, 900 touches in 2 seasons. Breece Hall's not really there yet. He's had a few touches here and there, a lot of targets overall, but by and large, I think he should be in pretty good shape for the next few seasons, which is, of course, a very short shelf life for the running back position. But to me, I look at Breece Hall, the Jets are going to look at him like, listen, we don't have anything better than him right now. It would be foolish for us to sit here and try to say that any running back we bring in will be better than Breece Hall at this point.
All right, I have a 2-part question for you, Nick. First one, have the New York Jets informed you who their starting quarterback is going to be in week 1 yet?
No, not yet. And listen, we're very, very early in the process.
Yeah.
This is the trade talks haven't begun. Free agency hasn't begun. The combine is where, and I've said this before, the combine is where we really find out what rumors are true and which ones are kind of just fallacy. I remember 2 years ago, the Saquon Barkley news, there were rumors of it, and then the combine happened, and everyone said, oh, yeah, this is real. Philly's going after him hard. That's where you kind of separate here's a nugget from someone who wants to try and get people excited, and here's what's actually happening. So I do believe that's going to be the case, again, as always. And we'll learn more about where exactly the Jets are leaning to go going in the next week.
Well, blast. That would have been a great bit on the show to announce live. Actually, they just don't. I just cut off the phone. Here it is. It's going to be blast. Okay. I thought that was unlikely. Non-Jewish. I thought they were about to book it happen. Okay. Now, the second part of the question is this. We don't know. There's a million names it could possibly be. But I'll ask you for timeline. What date do you think happens? So, like, it's March 15th, March 20th, whatever date that we are like, wow, that's the Jets plan at quarterback. It's this. What date? How soon do we find? Are we going to find that in the next month? Are we going to find that at the end of March, middle of March?
It sounds terrible. Yeah, it sounds terrible. But as I've said before, patience is a virtue. I think they will have a veteran. I know they will have a veteran brought in March. They're going to have someone come in March. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be their plan moving forward. I do think the draft, I do think they're going to take a quarterback in this draft. Where they'll take him is a big mystery, because if Ty Simpson goes into the combine and tears it up, ladies and gentlemen, he's going in the first round. 100%. I already think he's going in the first round from everyone I've talked to.
But that could solidify it.
But that would be he's not going to fall to Pittsburgh in the 20s. He's going top 20 in that conversation. So the way that I look at things is, they could bring in a guy like the Seahawks did in 2011, 2012. They're going to bring in a veteran, and it's going to be like, we have this as our plan. And then they're going to fall in love with a rookie in the draft and say, never mind, this is our guy. I could absolutely see that happening again. And quite frankly, I expect it, because the Jets will be drafting a quarterback. I was surprised they didn't draft one last year. It's just it's that simple. Take a quarterback in the draft, sign one in free agency, or bring one in free agency, and that's going to be your quarterback room for 2026.
All right, there you go. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. We'll welcome in your super chat questions. If you have those for Nick Faria, feel free to send those along. If you don't know what that means, if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the money sign. There's a super chat option where you can special request a question for Nick about the Jets, free agency, anything on your mind. Feel free to send those in. We'll also open up the phone lines. That's about to be the pinned comment on youtube.com/@boygreen25. So we're going to play a quick hep timeout, and Nick Faria will, with his, 10 toes down and his chest puffed out, we'll answer any and all questions that you may have in the universe. We'll be right back after this.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, Jets, Jets. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Nice. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Jets, Jets. Let's go!
There you go, baby. That is the call-in link. It is pinned to the top of YouTube there if you'd like to call into the show. My name is Paul Lester Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. We have over 300 people in the room. I'm here with beat reporter extraordinaire Nick Faria of JetsXFactor.com. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. Before we go to the phone lines, Nick, it was the question earlier today. So insider Greg Auman, he's of NFL on Fox. He dropped a top 50 free agent board and then predicted where he thinks all the free agents are going to land and gave his insights and takes on it. And one of his takes was that the Jets would pay big money for a corner in free agency, and that caught my attention. Like, oh wow, interesting. And that it would be Nashawn Wright, the Pro Bowl corner from the Chicago Bears. They pay a lot of money. My question to the YouTube chat, the poll is still up, is: do you believe corner is a top 5 position of need for the Jets because they have so many? I turn that question to you, Nick. Is the cornerback position a top 5 position of need for the Jets this offseason, in your opinion?
I'm trying to think. Quarterback, receiver, edge, tackle. No, I wouldn't. I would say no.
Okay.
And the reason why is based on the fact that Aaron Glenn is calling plays. Now let's go through this together, right?
Okay,
Top
sure.
need, obviously, quarterback. That's
Yes.
number one,
Agreed.
always.
Yep.
I think edge rusher is probably number two, as most people would say. Defensive tackle, wide receiver, those things need to be addressed as well.
Yeah.
The fifth one, where you could probably make the argument at corner, I would say throw in safety, throw in linebacker, because the way Aaron Glenn's
left guard too. Yeah.
Sure, but I don't consider left guard a need at this point.
They're going to do one of the two?
I think they're going to bring back one of the two.
Okay.
I would be shocked if they went out and said AVT, can't stay healthy. John Simpson, road grader, but not a top guard, and then say, we'll just restart it and create another need at guard. I would be very shocked by that.
All right.
You have the offensive line. Don't create more of a need when you have the strength of the position figured out. Right. So I think linebacker is going to be an underrated one. Not to say that it's a valued need, because you look at it, most other teams in the NFL, and linebacker is just not a position where you're going to pay a lot of money for.
Okay.
But if you look at what Aaron Glenn's defense is all about, they need aggressive linebackers who can also blitz, who can also rush the passer. Alex Anzalone is a great example. I'll throw another name out there, Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Philadelphia. We talk about Anzalone's abilities to blitz the quarterback, but Nakobe Dean was actually the highest rated linebacker last season when blitzing. So I think that would make a lot of sense for the Jets as well, because you need that athletic linebacker to come in and just wreak havoc. So I think linebacker is certainly one. And listen, they haven't had a good safety in years.
Yeah.
I think they can look and say, listen, we will trust our development of Brandon Stevens and AZ Thomas when he's healthy, and we will draft another cornerback if we need to. But instead of paying $15-17 million for a corner, let's pay a little bit extra for the defensive line. Let's pay a little extra at receiver. Let's give the extension to Elijah Vera-Tucker, and let's upgrade at linebacker and safety, the two spots where we have needed drastic change over last season.
It's very fair, and I think I would have gone through a very similar exercise going through them. I think it is quarterback, pass rusher. People don't talk about enough, but one of the big reasons we weren't getting takeaways in the back end of the defense is that quarterbacks are just standing there back all day because there was no pass rush being created. So yeah, it
is the quintessential question for defense. Is it the pass rush or is it the secondary?
The chicken or the egg, right?
The Legion of Boom in Seattle proved to the world that it could be the secondary.
Sure.
Where it's just there are coverage sacks on coverage sacks, and you're not going to be able to throw the ball against us. But the 2000 Giants, Strahan, Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka. You look at Philadelphia just 2 years ago. It was a blend of coverage, but also 6-7 sacks. They didn't blitz the entire game. Seattle blitzed 13% of the time last year, but the pass rush was so good. They blitzed where they needed to. It's finding the right balance between coverage sacks and getting consistent pressure. And the Jets had neither of that happen for them last season. The way that I look at it, trust in the pass rush a little bit more than the secondary. If you can rush with 4, you can make some really good quarterbacks look really, really bad.
That's for damn sure. Let's go to the phone lines again here on youtube.com/@BoyGreen25. Up first, Troy Sturgis, member of the Boy Green Espresso Club. What's up, Troy?
Hey, Paul. Hey, Nick. Hey, 2 questions.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm having bad reception here for some reason. Anyway, as far as we get Arvell Reese, do you believe our coaching staff will use him correctly?
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
As far as he could possibly be an outside linebacker, say, and then rush the quarterback on the edge in passing down situations. Or do you think they just stick him on the edge and say, figure it out?
I think they do exactly what the Cowboys did with Micah Parsons. And quite frankly, there are going to be people I see in the comments section, people just railing on Aaron Glenn as a head coach left and right.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I don't think most people can argue is that he's a pretty damn good defensive coordinator. He had Detroit playing a lot better than the talent that was provided. And a big part of that was because he had athletic linebackers that were coming from all over the place. I think he sees Arvell Reese as a 10 times better Alex Anzalone. Instead of having to bring in and pay a little bit more for the 32-year-old, why not draft Reese and have him fill that role? The off-ball linebacker that can play all over the field, but then rush the passer consistently when need to. I don't want to sit here and just say that he's going to be an edge rusher because I don't think that's what the Jets should do. I think they should allow him to play his game and use that speed of his to be Micah Parsons 2.0.
So do you think that he will take Quincy Williams' spot?
Yeah, I would say Quincy. The question is what happens with Jamie Sherwood. Really bad year last year. And if you look at the cap, they can't really do much with him. They can't really restructure. If they made him a post-June 1st cut, it's still an exorbitant cap hit. So I think Sherwood's going to stay on the roster, but you need to have a linebacker with him. You need to have someone there that he can trust, and I do think that Arvell Reese certainly can be that.
Yes, as far as I believe that his coverage skills is better than both the linebackers we got right now.
Oh, he's an upgrade for sure.
And another question, I'll let you guys get on to your other callers. Garrett Nussmeier, if he comes out of the combine and blows it up, is there a possibility he could top Ty Simpson?
No, I don't see him getting above Ty
No
Simpson.
doubt.
Yeah, it's very, very – because, listen, Ty Simpson, if you look at the tape, he was hurt a lot by Alabama receivers and play calls and just nothing really worked right for him this past year, and he does have a lot of intangibles that teams around the NFL will like. Nussmeier had the injury, and that is a big reason why he struggled this season. But the production still stands. Simpson this year was more productive than Nussmeier. And when Nussmeier was healthy, he struggled. So the way that I see it, if Nussmeier kills it at the combine, he's going day 2. Maybe second round, maybe early third round. He'll be a day 2 player. The one guy that I'm interested most in seeing is Drew Aller, because this was a quarterback last season that I thought if he came out was a first-round pick, came back, got the injury, and it was just an absolute disaster fire. Most people think that he's a day 3 guy because of the injury, and no one really knows what he could develop into. But again, if he crushes it at the combine and he shows that he can perform really, really well in his pro day, I do think there's an argument that he could get to day 2 as well.
That's my thought. I didn't know if he would, because everybody last year thought he was a top first-round pick. And now all of a sudden he's barely getting into the round 2 situation.
Things change, man. Things change
quickly.
A lot in these pre-draft process.
All right. Thanks, Troy.
Anyway, guys, I got to go. I'm getting some bad reception here.
Yeah, there you go. Troy getting some bad reception also. I appreciate his priorities. Screw work. Boy Green Daily, #1. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what we like to see. As long as you can keep your jobs that support you and your families. Back to the phone lines here. This is a legend. Let's bring him in. It is the Don Tony Teflon, baby. He's here on the program.
What is going on, my peoples? I appreciate y'all having me on. Before I ask you a question, Nick, and I got something to ask you, I just want to say something real quick. I know, Boy Green, you've been selling great merch, and I was thinking about stuff for merch for you. I was thinking about it. So I know a little bit about it. And when I look at the fan base of these Jets fans, they remind me of the Green Lantern Corps. The Green Lantern who uses the power ring and uses hope to fuel his power ring. And I think that's what you are, Boy Green. You are the Hope Green Lantern. But then you have the Sinestro Corps, the Yellow Lantern, who uses fear to use it. And I think that's the other side of the Jets fans. So I think that Boy Green with the Hope ring is a good is some good merch for you real quick.
Ooh,
And let the other
okay.
people, we'll see how the other fans, maybe they go with fear more, and that's how they use their power, which I don't blame them. The Jets have given them no reason not to be fearful, right? So it goes both ways. And then I want to say real quick, have you seen that San Francisco documentary that Tom Brady is narrating?
I have not. I've heard people texting me about it, but I've not seen it myself.
This man takes no chances not to take a shot within the first 5 minutes. It's about San Francisco, but he had to take a shot at the Jets, and he said something like, "Oh, San Francisco was my favorite team growing up. If the Jets were my favorite team growing up, I could have never been the quarterback that I've been because I wouldn't have had a role model like Joe Montana." Like, it made no sense for him to bring the Jets up, but he just couldn't help himself. 5 minutes into it, he has to take a shot at the Jets. But,
I saw that quote online, and I didn't know if it was real. And now to hear that it actually was, how much mental space we take up as a Jets team in people's heads for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 15 years, that they are constantly the third team in the Super Bowl that people are talking about. Like every year, oh, yeah, Sam Darnold, yeah, he started his career with that shitty Jets team. And then 2 years ago, oh, Mekhi Becton, thank God he overcame that Jet shit. And then 3 years before, Mecole Hardman, whoa, started the season on the Jets, started from the bottom, now we here. Like, seriously, every goddamn year. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Every time. I hate Tom Brady. All right, Nick, I really would like to get Dobbs. I think Dobbs would be the best fit as a receiver for us on the team. But what my concern of really getting any receiver is, do we have to have a quarterback first before we can get any receiver to want to come do that? Are they going to say, well, I ain't coming, I don't care about the money, I need to know who's throwing it? And would someone like the Arizona's quarterback, which I like him, listen, in New York, light-skinned black men like that, Jalen Brunson looks like Jalen Brunson's brother to me. They've done good in New York. And I'm willing just to go for that reason, have him come over. But with someone like that, or a Malik Willis, would that we more can get somebody like make a Dobbs want to come and play for us?
I think if Kyler were to be the pick, sure. I think the conversation changes a little bit if it's Jacoby Brissett, if it's, some of these other unproven guys that are just clearly bridge quarterbacks. But I agree. They're not getting a quality wide receiver in free agency, in my opinion, unless it's a massive overpay and the guy has assurances that the quarterback position will be something that they are accustomed to. For example, I don't see Romeo Dobbs being the guy that comes here unless Malik Willis is also a free agent signee. And I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think he's probably going to either Arizona or Miami. So I have a hard time seeing a top free agent receiver be willing to come to the Jets if it's anything less than $25 million, and a clear answer at the quarterback position.
By the way, what a great question. Now that you've said that, it's now like the Don, Tony, Teflon, of course. Obviously, you're the Don. Why wouldn't you have these, great questions? Like, that almost feels like if free agency happens and the Jets immediately signed a star wide receiver, that's got to tell me, like, damn, they must have a great quarterback play because they must have told that guy, hey, don't worry. Like, because I imagine if I'm a wide receiver, I talk to the Jets. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, this is all that. Who the fuck is throwing me the football? And then they must tell him something in that room where it's like, oh, okay, sign on the dotted line. Maybe it's a sign that they have a great plan. Maybe. And also, it feels like, is there a rush, to your point, the Don? Because if the Jets don't get the quarterback quick, the wide receivers are going to go to other places. That means the Jets got to figure out the quarterback ASAP. There's almost a pressure to find it faster to make sure they don't lose on the wide receivers because these free agents go quick. They go quick, Nick Faria.
Always.
No, and I was wondering, would you think it'd be better for the Jets when it comes to money-wise? Is it better to spend the money on offense, or is it better to draft offense or defense? Which way would you go if you had to do it? Would you say, let me take all these defensive players, most of them from the draft, and then free agent do offense, or you think it's better the other way around?
There is no perfect science because we have seen championship contenders bring in free agents on offense and then draft defense and then vice versa. The Jets have to start somewhere. That's the problem. They don't have a place to start. They have their offensive line, so the theory could be that they're going to draft their offense and then sign players on defense and start with that mindset. But it could certainly change this offseason. They could draft fully defense and then bring in free agents on offense. That could certainly be the solution there. But there's no clear-cut example or answer as to where they should go if it's drafting, everybody on offense or drafting everyone on defense. It's a case-by-case basis, but the team has to start somewhere. I think they've started on offense, but there's got to be an infusion of more talent moving forward.
Tony, answer your own question. Do you have a preference to that question?
I would like to score some points. Finally, I really would like to score some points. But I think the easiest way to build a Super Bowl team, and I think people underestimate that the Jets can't get this done in a year or two, because I really think we can, is the defense. I think when your defense is solid, holding, it may be boring, it may not look great to watch, but if you can get a defense that can shut people down to 14 points a game, I think it's the team more than anything else. I think that's the easiest way. So I think that they should go after bona fide people on defense that are already good. So get free agents on defense and then take the chances on the people on offense in the draft. That's the way I would do it. And and we'll see how it works out. But people underestimate that the Jets can't get it done in a year. I can see it. Patriots done it. All these teams, the NFL is built right now, teams to make a comeback to that dramatically. The Jets can do it. It can happen. So, Boy Green, keep peddling in hope. I am a hope Green Lantern with you. I'm not going to peddle in fear. I'm going to say with the hope, keep that ring burning. Nick, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course.
There he is, the Don Tony Teflon. Yeah, let's work on that merch. I like the idea. Boy Green, Green Lantern. There's something there. Let's work with the people. That's very intriguing. All right, let's. Great call there. Great questions from the Don Tony Teflon. Let's do a couple questions or calls, excuse me, before we wrap up the show here on the program. Up next is Johnny Boy.
Hey, what up, Nick?
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, first off, let's go Mets. There's too much Yankee hats that were popping on this the show. No disrespect to the Don, but I gotta rep my Mets. So
beautiful.
Dude, I'm on team offense, man. Like I think that's what I would want, because there's a lot of free agents that are out there. Again, I keep coming on the show and I'm talking about it. You got the kid Tunga from the Patriots that you could put on your defensive line, and then that would bolster up stuff in the run of itself. I don't think he's gonna cost you a lot. Right? If you want to go linebacker, dude, there's players out there, man. You got Lloyd, the kid Walker, you got
Sure.
Dean. And if you're going to bring in Anzalone and Walker together, why not? And then with Sherwood to potentially learn from there. You got, if you go safety, a Blankenship. And then at that point, I could say, maybe you take a Bane, right? If you want another like big beefy edge cat or the Bailey or whatever, whatever your flavor of the week is gonna be. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, I want a weapon, bro. I want to score points. I want to be able to put points, and then we can unleash those edge players that we have with the rotation that could potentially be there. But I was calling in regards to this. Jermaine Johnson. Could you use him as an off-ball linebacker? Do you think he would be able to kind of like translate to that?
No, he's an edge rusher. He's probably your best run defender right now when he's fully healthy. The big question about Jermaine Johnson is, do you offer him an extension? Because an extension for him at a low value could mean that the Jets save, I think it was like $8-9 million on the salary cap. So instead of these 75 million, you could be over 80 million if you were to give Johnson an extension. Again, he hasn't proven enough to be a 4 or 5 year kind of extension deal, but it's certainly something that they have to consider at the very least to create even more cap space if they want to go into the free agent quarterback market. Going to be interesting to see how that happens, but he's not an off-ball linebacker. He's probably right now your best edge rusher on the team.
Although I would say this, it was funny for a 5-second thing. The Jets caused a huge shit show for a very small period of time. Jermaine Johnson on the team website was changed from a defensive end to a linebacker, and everyone went, wait a second, is there some positional change happening here? And like Jermaine was interviewed at training camp and went, wait, what? I'm listed at what now? So it was a whole big thing for nothing. Sometimes the interns behind the scenes, they're switching things around, cause the whole thing. So yeah, I agree. I'm in agreement with Nick Faria.
And I just say, like, I keep talking about the offense. I understand the dynamic that the defense wins you championships, et cetera, et cetera. But we've been doing that same type of formula for the last 10 years. It's been losing seasons. We've been doing it for 15 years, no playoffs. So, like, why not boost up the damn offense? And that's why I say, like, the conversations of now Pittman, right, or with the Pierce and all that. So you're giving another weapon to that offense that could get boosted up. And then any of these quarterbacks that are out here, it's an immediate upgrade on the offensive quarterbacks that we have right now. Right now we have Hendon Hooker, Zappy, and we have Cook. And Fields at that too, because Fields still hasn't been cut. So if you're talking about a Willis, I mean, why not? If Kyler Murray gets cut, it's a conversation to talk about. Does he fit what Frank and them want? I don't know. I have no idea what the New York Jets are going to do. And you said it perfectly, Nick. Until free agency happens, a lot of the stuff that myself as a fan and I keep throwing out there, it's going to be speculation because I have no idea. You know, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Yesterday when the Manchild and BG had Matt on there, right? The conversation was about how Pittman would essentially fit because they're going to tag Pierce. So I can see him going to the Jets. And I know a lot of people say, well, are you going to want to pay 20+ mil to another wide receiver? Yes, I would. If you have the money and you could do it and you're telling me that you're in 2027 is where we're going to get the franchise quarterback that we continue to keep talking about, why not have that team, that offense already gelled for at least 1 year going into a rookie quarterback that you're expecting to be the savior of the franchise itself? Again, there's just like a lot of stuff that's out there in free agency that we're not talking about. You know, look him up. Look up the kid Tonga. I think he's like 365 pounds. He was a menace, bro, on the run itself, and he was with the Patriots, but he's a free agent. You know, Quay Walker, over 6 feet, right? His biggest issue is that he can't pass cover, but he could stop the run. So, and he's good on the on the flats. So, I don't know. It's one of those where I just keep throwing a lot of these different names to just kind of get people to say, hey, maybe they can fix it, the defense on free agency, or maybe they could go offense and free agency and then bolster it up in the during the draft. So
well, we'll see what happens, man. It should be a lot of fun. Boys. Thanks, Johnny boy. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, there's a lot of positive thoughts of what the Jets could decide to do. Let's take one last call, and then we'll sign off here with Nick Faria. We got to go to Lou B, Super Jets fan, obviously. Let's go, Lou B. You're here with us for the exclamation point on the show. What's up, brother?
Hey, guys. Hey, Nick. First of all, sorry for your loss. I know you recently went through something, so I want to say that first. Nick, so all the different variables in this draft, in my mind, I laid out something that I think is very possible. I just wanted to see you tell me how possible it is. Number one, I would take Jeremiah Love at 2. Number 3, Kendrick Sadiq would probably be there at 16. 33 is most likely that we can trade and get some value for 33. It seems that that's the most likely pick that would be traded in the draft. I see that everywhere. Whether we do or we don't, picking up a wide receiver, Amari Cooper or Elijah, could be there at 44. It seems like in every mock draft that one of those guys will fall to at least a 44. So in my head, if you keep the offensive high scoring, you're keeping the fans in the game, you're keeping a chance. And you're going to say who for quarterback? I agree with you, Nick. I love Tanner. So now let's lay out this offense. You have Tanner as the quarterback. You overpay for him if you have to. We have so many picks. You overpay for Tanner. You have Tanner back there. You have a receiver. You have Garrett. You have Amari or Elijah. You have Jeremiah Love as the running back, and assume you're going to get another pick. because I do not. Breece Hall is probably reading books right now on how to hold out. So that's what Breece Hall is doing this morning. So Breece is off the team most likely. Jeremiah Love. You have Kendrick Sadiq on the side of Taylor Mason. You have Garrett. You have AD. And you have Amari or Elijah. With Tanner throwing the ball and then going to draft another quarterback who's tall, like a Drew Allen later on, that matches what Tanner is. Very tall, and obviously that's what Frank likes. What do you think about my plan, Nick?
Love Tanner McKee. I think you should be tested if you think a running back is worthy this year of going second overall.
So he obviously is one of the highest rated players in this draft.
Sure. Is he? But I'll ask you this: Is he comparable to Bijan Robinson?
Yes, that's his comparison right now on most.
Okay, and where did Bijan go?
Derek, and another great guy I can't think of, but that is his comp. And if you watch him, he's unbelievable.
I'm not debating that. Where did Bijan Robinson get drafted?
Eighth overall.
No, I'm not that.
Eighth overall.
Overall. So
that's the way the ball fell.
But here's the thing. So the best running back prospect of the last decade, which I think most people will agree was Bijan, he fell to 8 in terms of positional value. The Jets have needs at edge rusher, defensive tackle, safety. Arguably, let's say, I'll give you this. Let's say Love is one of the 3 best names in this draft class. The other 2 are who? Arvell Reese and probably Caleb Downs, right? I think.
Well, we're confused whether we want to take Arvell. I just saw a draft yesterday with 3 guys from Connor Rogers and 2 other guys. They picked David Bailey. 3 guys on the same show said Bailey. So obviously we're very confused.
But it's right to be confused because the combine hasn't started. No one's making a selection for another 2 months.
I'm just talking about today. I'm talking
right.
About
right. My point is for this exercise, safety, edge rusher, running back. Why would the Jets essentially say we're going to ignore probably 2 of the more important needs that we have and just draft the running back because he's the next Bijan?
Why? Because when you have Jeremiah Love in the backfield, your receivers will be more open every single game because they have to worry that every single play that this guy can catch the ball, jump over your defenders, or rush for 80 yards. He is such a ridiculous threat that it will help whatever quarterback we have. And obviously we don't have the exact answer for quarterback right now. But if Tanner was in the backfield, let's just say, with Jeremiah Love on his side, that's a pretty good combo. And if we end up with one of these other veterans and not Tanner and it's someone else, it's still Jeremiah Love is going to help the quarterback today and the quarterback tomorrow. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Mendoza having Genty in the background. Having Genty behind him is going to help Mendoza incredibly. He had a shitty year, but
Lou, let me ask you this, Lou. Okay, so Genty, all-time great running back season. Didn't have that kind of year.
Worst offensive line.
Didn't have the 100%. Didn't have the offensive line. So very clearly, the running back position you have just acknowledged, is very predicated on a lot of other things happening.
Now they have him. They have him this year, and they got Mendoza. So Mendoza and Genty together is very.
They're not an offensive line.
I understand, but that's where they have to address in free agency as best they can. That's what every one of their draft picks should go towards a line. But they still have these guys for the next, let's just say, 5 years. Jeremiah Love is going to be dominant in this league. He is one of the best players that there is. And you could see there's a lot more people talking about him lately. Like, I was one of the early ones on, as BG knows, me and Hap were like screaming Jeremiah Love. But it has been changing the talk. And I want to ask you one question. You know how stubborn AG could be, correct? You sit in front of him. Did he or did he not? Maybe he answered the question to you. He said, well, it's a Russian league, ain't it? Look what Saquon's doing. So he does believe that. Like, he's not going to change his mind on that.
Okay, but you're putting it out of context. You're putting that answer out of context.
You mentioned Saquon Barkley in the
right. Again, remember a reporter at a question. It was in training camp or something. They said, like, obviously it's a passing league, and AG immediately cut back. It's a passing league. He's like, well, like, isn't it? And then they start having this fun back and forth.
The context of it was essentially, why are you, if it's a passing league, you have Justin Fields out there. His plan last year was to be the number one rushing team in football and have Justin be competent enough at quarterback in order to get 7, 8, 9 wins. That, of course, did not happen. And most people now will look at that and say, wow, that was a really, really bad decision the first time out. But what it showed is that even if you have a really good rushing attack, it means dick if you can't stop an offense.
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm laying out here is a plan that we can actually obtain. Getting Kendrick Sadiq on the side of
I don't even want to go. I don't even want to go there.
Which, by the way,
he's
incredible. 2 things here. First off, it's Kenyon Sadiq, and then that's okay. James Kennedy, by the way, says, Lou, you've certainly opened up my mind. You've every time, Lou, you join a show, another one joins the Army, baby.
Listen, we will score, and we will score and score. The fans are so bored. I'm one of those fans, Nick. I go to every game. I'm sitting there. 3 points. Now I see people leaving. Like, keep us there. Scored. Okay, we're getting they're scoring. Okay, we're here. Score again. Points. We would be dominant with this plan. Dominant.
But Lou, let me ask you this then. What's stopping the Jets from taking I don't even think he'll be the pick at 2. I've been very clear. I think Reese is probably the better guy. But let's say they take Caleb Downs at 2, and then they draft.
That's the opposite plan. I would go that way too. If we had to go that way, I would go Caleb and look for someone like Caleb Downs at 2 and Banks at 6.
Ooh, Caleb Banks out of Florida. Yeah.
So let's say they take Reese or Downs, either one for this argument.
Okay.
And then they take a receiver at 16. Throw a name out there. Let's just say they get him.
Whoever, right. And
then they get, and then they go in the second round and they go all in on the defensive line. Is that team not better overall than establishing it? You are essentially predicting or suggesting the Jets in back-to-back years take a tight end within the first 2 rounds of a draft.
He's a great tight end, and I'm just saying that he would be there. Like, you don't have to take him at 16. I'm giving you
I understand.
I'm saying that he will be there at 16.
Absolutely.
There may be one of these great receivers. Maybe Jordan Tyson falls to 16 because of his injury, and we're like, holy shit. Okay, so let me go reverse this. Jeremiah Love, Jordan Tyson, Tanner at quarterback. This can still work. My plan.
Listen, if that's the argument, I fully get it. But you will never on God's green earth get me to admit that drafting a running back with the 2nd overall pick when you have needs at the following positions that are of higher value than running back. I think we all agree. Quarterback, wide receiver, defensive tackle.
Not quarterback at 2. Do you agree?
Huh?
But a quarterback's off the table at 2, he's saying, right?
What I'm saying is, if you have needs at other positions of higher value, that deteriorates not the right word, but it lowers the value of what a transcendent running back can be for your offense. If you were to draft Jeremiah Love at 2, you should have a situation where the quarterback is already set. The offensive line is already set, which it is. The receivers are good. And your defense is borderline good to great, maybe needs 1 or 2 tweaks. Last year was just a really bad year of injuries. If you had all that, that is when taking a running back makes sense.
But we are not a perfect situation here at One Jets Drive.
You're absolutely right, which is why are you taking a running back if you're not a perfect situation?
Unbelievable, because he will jump over, and he is a freak. If you do not watch, I know you do it. I know you know who he is, but watch this guy. Him on the Jets.
I've seen him. He's incredible.
He will complain all day. The Jets took him at number 2 until game day, until the first ticket I stamp and walk through the door. And then it'll be like, oh my God, this guy's up 80 yards, jumping over people, unstoppable. He's another wide receiver. He is another wide receiver. He blocks great. He doesn't. Oh, by the way, he doesn't. Derrick Henry fumbles. Jeremiah doesn't fumble. This guy will change the Jets. He can change the Jets. He could be one of the biggest pieces to change the Jets. I can for it all day long. I don't want to talk to you guys.
Two things. One, that is the same argument Mike Ditka made when he gave the entire draft for Ricky Williams.
Hey, come on. Wasn't that the right choice?
He's a pothead. I was at the Super Bowl party. He was there. He was smoking up a storm.
Two, you are essentially arguing the same argument.
No, they're two different guys. Two different
David
teams.
Gettleman made when he took Saquon Barkley at number 2.
And look what Saquon did for you.
Super Bowl champion
on a completely different team than the one that drafted him.
He won. I usually don't speak to Philadelphia. I work in Atlantic City. I don't speak to Philadelphia fans just early in the morning. But Nick, Saquon won you guys that Super Bowl. When he played shitty, 100%. Your whole team went to shit.
Wait, hold on.
I know they won a Super Bowl before that. I know all about it. I was there.
2017, right?
Saquon won a Super Bowl. Do you know how many yards he got that game?
He was incredible in that Super. He was incredible to get you guys there. I know he was in the Super Bowl, but he got you guys there. I'm sorry, let me reverse the statement.
But again,
he got you guys there. He was jumping other people too.
Did they not have a top 5 defense in the NFL?
I know Philadelphia is great, Egg. I understand.
But
without Saquon Barkley, they don't win the Super Bowl.
Mahomes and
listen,
back-to-back
three defensive players in the back. Lee Hunter, there are a lot of good defensive Jacobs. There are a lot of good guys that could fall a little bit later that we could pick up free agency. We could build the defense, and we could go out and straight out draft an unbelievable offense and score. We need to score. We can't win without scoring.
Amen.
Period. Have a nice day. I could go on and on and on and on. Talk to you guys.
There he is, Loopy. All right. Well, what an I said it when he came out. I'm like, all right, let's get an exclamation point to this show. That delivered. Wow. So Nick Faria, God bless. Thank you for all the fun calls and passion. And I love doing this with you every week, buddy.
Of course. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys.
There he is, Nick Faria, our beat reporter for JetsXFactor.com. I desperately got to know. We got to go. We have some other interviews on the MC Show digital channel. Quick plug: we'll be back on live at 3:00. Boy, Green meets Woody. Make sure you guys tune in. That's live at 3:00. On the way out, if you could do me a big favor, everybody, the biggest favor in the world, hit the like button if you haven't already on the way out. Whether you're watching live or after the fact, we stream live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. People rewatch the show on YouTube at any time that they choose. That's YouTube for you. And then the audio-only listeners of this program, I appreciate you as well, no matter where you consume the show. But if you are watching on YouTube, like the video as you exit stage left. Hit subscribe, baby. Again, we're only a handful of subscribers away from 8,390. Loopy, a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.